reminder, here we go, record our session here today. Okay, and the next slide, Tristan. A friendly reminder for those parents that are logging off on that need Spanish captions. If you'll go to show captions, and then our wonderful community liaison, Alejandra Aguilar, will be there helping you with those translate captions and translations if needed. Okay. Next slide there. Thank you. All right. So who is here today from Union School District? We've got Heather Scher, Director of Educational Services. I just mentioned her, Alejandra Aguilar, our community liaison, helping with that Spanish speaking parent population. So thank you so much. Myself, I need to slow down and remember that we need time for translation. We have the TOSAs here today. Janine Burris is me, Jackie Knutson, Susan Lavelle, and Abe Goldman. So all of us TOSAs are here. Also, Tristan Rees is here as curriculum assessment and media specialist. He will be the one facilitating things in the chat. So if you need anything, please feel free to communicate via chat, and Tristan will address those as we go. And of course, we have all of our sites represented by our teachers today in our multilingual learner committee. They're going to give you the wonderful site updates of current events at their sites later in our meeting today. All right, next slide. Our agenda, it's pretty packed. We've got some things that we must go over and some things that we're excited that are current. So we always review the purpose of DELAC. We're going to go over the shift from English learner to multilingual learner technology. We're going to go ahead and go over very quickly the summary of our May meeting minutes. We're going to talk about certification of staff, the needs assessment for this school year, and then USD English learner data and LPAC timeline. We have the elementary music and art update, as well as the importance of school attendance starting our school year off. We'll talk a little bit about English language intervention curriculum and interventions at each site, and multilingual learner teacher committee share outs, that's per site, language line as a resource, and of course, ending with all our Union School District community events in the next couple months. So excited to share those out with you. All right, so let's see who's here. Zoom's a little bit different, obviously, so we need to go ahead and have you put your first and last name, please, in the chat, as well as which site you're at or your children are at, please. Also at this time, Tristan is going to be putting an individual student question form in the chat. So parents, if something comes up that you have a question about, please put it in the chat, and myself and Heather will get back to you. We'll go over all the questions and contact you in regards to whatever your question is. So feel free to fill that form out as needed. And then any other general questions you can go ahead and put in the chat if needed. All righty. So just to get to know you, this is parents and teachers participation, please. Looking at all the different images, can you please type the corresponding number in the chat? Parents, which picture best describes your child's favorite subject in school? And then teachers, what was your favorite subject when you were a student? Oh, okay, Jen said history. Well, she's a social studies teacher, so that makes sense now, Jen. Oh, Tristan, 7. Okay, history, got it. Social studies. Miss Lerma, writing. I would guess that with you, Miss Lerma. Absolutely. Thank you for your participation. I'm excited to see on this board actually, and this is going to be coming up in our slides later, but we've got number 1 to report on and number 8 to report on for our music and art programs within our school district. So we're going to highlight those later. Excited about that. All right, next slide. Okay, just coming back to the purpose of DELAC. So we learn about the district's programs and services provided to English learners or multilingual learners within Union School District. It's district personnel. We review programs and see what's current and needed for our multilingual students. It's also a time for us annually to review data and updates and go over our LCAP and just make sure that we're all aligned and we have voices and perspectives from, district personnel and parent community. So making sure our supports are in place and aligned with our goals. And then we also want to learn about the parent involvement and activities within our school district. Alrighty. Just a quick review of our meeting minutes in May. When we met last May, we went over the purpose of DELAC and we actually discussed at length the reading difficulties risk screener. And Union School District is going to go ahead and have those screeners for kindergarten, first and second grade this school year. So we discussed what that was last May. We went over the English learner parent needs assessment, specifically focused in math and literacy. And we gave, of course, our teacher updates per site. And we went over and reviewed how the LPAC is scored and how to read those reports. And then we also reviewed our LCAP. All right, Tristan, next slide. And I'm going to have Heather take over on this slide.
Yes. So every year we like to kick off with some data, and we'll actually share some data throughout the year because we get different pieces throughout the year. But before we get to some of that, I did just want to point out something exciting that is shifting here in California, and that is the shift from the terminology of English learner to multilingual learner. Um, I gave a presentation to our school board last May, and I kicked off with this exact kind of slide and sharing this exact shift with them as well. And I just kind of noted that our multilingual learners are students that come to us with a wealth of global background experiences, obviously, with some of our students speak not just two languages, but three, four languages. And we really just want to make sure that as a district, we're focusing on asset-based terminology. And so we are really pleased when we heard about this shift through the California Department of Education. That all being said, throughout this slide deck, you'll still see the terminology English learner used on some slides. And that is just because some of the acronyms that have been in place for decades haven't caught up yet. And a perfect example is DELAC. So DELAC stands for the District English Learner Advisory Committee. If it eventually changes, it'll be the DMLAC. So we'll have to see how it goes. So that doesn't quite roll off the tongue. So you will see kind of throughout this slide EL on some parts, but as a district, when we're speaking about everything wonderful that our English learners bring to our community, we want to reflect that in the terminology multilingual learners. So just a little tidbit about that. It is interesting every year that we have shifts through the numbers of languages that we serve in our school district, as well as kind of the number of students that speak what languages outside of the home. So in this slide, now this slide was from that board meeting, and you'll see in a couple slides down that it has shifted even a little bit since then. But back in May, our current English learners were as follows. So we have the most Spanish-speaking English learners, followed by Korean, Mandarin, Japanese, and Russian. And Tristan, if you can go to the next slide. Last year we had 52 different languages spoken in our school district, which is amazing. Let me flip to my next little note page. So to shift gears for a second, and then some more fun data to come. This next slide is super important, but it's not as fun as some of the other updates that you'll hear later on throughout this meeting, but it's one of those requirements that we have to do every year in DELAC. And again, it is very important. So here in Union School District, we are very fortunate to have such an amazing staff. And when we are hiring new staff, we really try and want to hire teachers that are completely credentialed. This is not the case district to district. There are many districts where the number is, 50%, 60% are currently credentialed, teachers that are working towards their credentials. So here in Union, I just ran the numbers by HR and they let me know that 98.4% of our teaching staff is CLAD certified. And the definition for CLAD is on the slide. It means cross-cultural language and academic development certified. So this is an extra certificate that teachers in California have to get in order to teach here. So it's not the same in all 50 states. So in order to be able to teach English learners within our regular classroom, teachers have to get this extra certificate. And so we are super fortunate that 98.4 currently have it. And that means that one teacher is still working towards that certification. And then there are 5 teachers in our district that are in intern program, which means they're going to teaching credential school as they are teaching, and they have mentors that they work with. So again, we're super fortunate. Obviously, 100% is always the best, but even this number will go up within this year as teachers finish their credentials within the school year. So I'm happy. It's a good number to report out on. The 2 types of language instruction that we use, the 2 models are English language development, ELD, and something known as SEDAI. Essentially, both of these mean that we teach our English learners within the regular classroom. Now, we do have some interventions that we'll talk about later in this presentation, primarily for our newcomer students, so students that we have students that show up every week from new countries throughout the school year. And so we do have systems in place to help them as well. But studies have shown and research has shown that students being included within the regular general ed classroom really helps, especially their speaking skills. And it's amazing to see how far students come. When they first arrive in our schools towards the end of the year, it's amazing and it's so celebratory. And we're just so proud of all of the work that our teachers do and that our students learn each year. So that's certification of staff. Next slide. Okay, so Tristan has been dropping this in the chat. Another DELAC requirement, and it's a great one, is that we ask parents what they want to talk about at DELAC or what they want to learn about at DELAC, really. And what we do is we have parents take this needs assessment. We'll also be emailing this out to all parents of multilingual learners after the meeting because we know not everyone can take time away from work and busy schedules to attend this meeting live. So if you have friends that you know would like to give input, please share the needs assessment with them as well. And so what we do is after everyone fills out the survey, we look at it and then we try to either bring speakers to DELAC to talk about the programs and pieces that parents noted that they were most interested in to our following 2 DELAC meetings. So we've had some great suggestions in the past. Some of the suggestions we've actually turned into other events and other parent nights and parent information evenings. So definitely when it gets to the other things that you're interested in, any ideas, we would love to read as part of that survey. So please fill that out. And then, ooh, thanks for the reaction. I like that. Okay, and then back to some data. So we really do like to ground everything that we do in our school district with data, whether it's survey data, like the needs assessment that I just spoke about, or instruction data to use to plan instruction, and in this case, demographic data. So 10, 12 years ago, we had about 7% English learners in our school district. So it's really doubled over the last decade or so. And that is an important data point to note, right? So you can see here in Union School District, we have about 15% of our student population is speaks another language, is learning another language. A little bit lower than our county. So there are districts. San Jose Unified is a huge district nearby. Campbell is a big district nearby. They tend to have more. I believe Campbell and Moreland have closer to 25%. And so we're a little less than some of our neighbors, but in the county and in comparison to the state of California, we're pretty close. So the whole state of California is sitting at about 17.4%. Next slide. And then we broke it down a little bit more. Data is always a little bit behind. So I get this data from a public website. Anyone can use it called DataQuest. And the most up-to-date data they have on DataQuest is from last spring. So in 24-25, you can see kind of the breakdown by our school sites. This is another interesting data point. For example, Oster's multilingual learner population has increased over the last few years. So they're very close to Leitz's population, for example. Next slide. So then this is more recent than that board meeting slide I showed you earlier. So if you were to look at, and I do have the DataQuest link there, we'll be sending this slide deck out to everyone after. But if you look at not just our English learners, but our multilingual learners, but also our students that have been reclassified, meaning they have shown that they speak not only their home language, but they can read, write, listen, and speak in English as well. So if you take all of those students that speak another language, you can see that our highest second language spoken isn't Spanish, which again is different than neighboring districts. Spanish in Moreland, Campbell, Cambrian, and some of our other neighbors are primarily Spanish as the most spoken second language, whereas Mandarin is ours. So we have Mandarin, Spanish, Korean, Hindi, and Japanese. These were all of our same top 5 last year, but the order has switched. So last year, Spanish was third and Korean was second. So again, I find this fascinating. I love looking from year to year, but also we do need to know who our students are because then we can figure out ways to best support not just our students, but our families as well. And then the next slide is similar in which this shows our top languages spoken in our district by our current multilingual learners. So of the kids that are still learning English, in this case, we do have Spanish as the most. So 27% of our current multilingual learners speak Spanish, followed by Korean, Mandarin, Japanese, and then Russian. So you can see that is even a shift from that last slide. So very interesting. We keep up to date on all of this. And then this brings me to the LPAC, which I know at this time of the year, parents, this is one of the reasons why you maybe primarily came to this meeting, although we have lots of exciting things to share. But as you can see, the LPAC timeline is a continual timeline. And from year to year, it follows this pattern. So in August and September, we have 30 calendar days to facilitate the LPAC, which is the English Learner Proficiency Assessment for California, to all of our students who are either new to the country or new to a California school. So oftentimes this is our kindergartners. We no longer give the LPAC to TK students, which is great. And again, we have 30 calendar days, so it's a big push. We have an amazing team of LPAC testers. They're all retired teachers. They're very kind and sweet and love working with kids, but they are on a time crunch. So at this point, we had 2 new students join last week, but up until then, we have assessed all of our new students, and we had about 180-ish, Tristan. Is that right? Yep. So 180 students to provide this assessment for. So from there, we get the results back, and parents, if you have a new to California or new to the state student, your student would have just taken the initial LPAC and you should have received your results for your student. They come out very quickly now, which is awesome. It used to be a month's delay. And from there, any student that scored the highest score on that initial test is now considered initially fluent, which means they scored essentially perfect on all of the questions, showing that they already read, write, listen, and speak in English, equivalent to a native speaker. So some of those students become what is known as IFEP, and the other students are our current multilingual learners. Students that are newcomers, that are very just starting to learn the language, will receive support again within the regular classroom. Some may receive additional support in a small group. And then we go from there and we continue to monitor their progress. And then in January, February-ish through May, we have the summative LPAC, and that one we give to all of our English learners. So that's where we test about 800 students in our district with that summative LPAC, and then we get their scores back, and then the process repeats. Now, the piece that's in here that I'll speak more about at our next DELAC meeting is reclassification. And reclassification is very exciting. We love this part of the process. And this is where a student that has scored a 4 on the LPAC, which is the highest score possible, then is then eligible to be what's called reclassified. So we take that student who's received a 4, and then we need to look at their state testing data. And if they received a 3 or a 4 on their state test, which is the CASP, then we reach out to teachers and see how the students are doing within the classroom from day to day. And then from there, we reach out to our parents individually. And Alejandra, our community liaison, plays a key role. She makes lots of phone calls to call parents and make sure parents approve of the reclassification. And then once that whole process is done, then we get to hold little award ceremonies and little parties and things at each school site. And we have a little celebratory kind of gift for each student that is reclassified. So it's very fun, very exciting. And then, like I said, the process starts all over the next year. So that's the basics. And each DLAC meeting, depending on what's going on, we'll talk about key pieces. I did just want to reiterate, though, if you are here as a brand new English learner, multilingual learner parent, and have questions about your own students' LPAC scores, happy to help. What we'd like you to do is use the form that's called the parent question form that Tristan's dropping in the chat. And in there, you'll be able to ask your question, give us your contact information, and either Janine, Alejandra, or myself will contact you with your answer. We found that's the best way to kind of answer everybody's personal questions. Next slide. Okay, so that was a lot of the logisticy DLAC requirements, all good information, but now we're going to get to some of the fun stuff. So I'm going to turn it over to one of our amazing TOSAs, Jackie, to talk a little bit about our music and arts programs.
Okay, I'm very excited to share about this. So last year, our district was able to add fourth and fifth grade music teachers. And so as a reminder, our teachers are Emma Gregg and Jordan Parker. And fourth grade gets general music and they learn about general instruments and they learn to read simple rhythms and melodies, play games. And then they have 2 to 3 songs that they perform at a concert for parents and the school. Fifth grade does choir and rhythm. They get to pick either choir and rhythm or band. So they're deciding which one they want to be in. And Emma Gregg teaches the choir and rhythm and also learning to read notes and keeping the rhythm. And again, 2 to 3 songs performances during a concert for parents in the school. And then Jordan does fifth grade band, and it's a variety of instruments like trumpet, trombone, clarinet, and flute. And some will add percussion later on in the school year. They have 3 performances, same thing, 2 to 3 songs per concert, and they have opportunities for solo. And I can say that's like one of my favorite things to go to as a TOSA when I get to go site to site and see the kids perform. It's amazing and they love it. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast for Alejandra. I'm trying to slow myself down. And then this year we got to add an elementary art Helen Kamali is our art teacher for grades 1 through 3, and then in the afternoon she works with TK and Kinder students. And it's new this year, and that's a picture from Alta Vista, some of the projects that students did this year. It looks like they read the book Splat the Cat and then did an art piece from it. And then the small ones above that, the students did a self-portrait out of clay. And they do 4 to 6 projects throughout the school year, and she pushes into the classrooms with the students. And like I said, reads a book, a literature piece, and then they do an art project to go with it. And this is courtesy of Prop 28. So thank you to the voters for doing that. And this is how it's being implemented in our district. We're so fortunate. Next slide. This one is the attendance matters slide. And as you know, that our district is funded by students coming to school and being basically at school attending. So there's a short video for about attendance matters and the reason that we would like students at school.
Hi everyone, I'm here to present to you a little bit about attendance and how we use attendance in the Union School District. So one of the questions we often get is, how does attendance impact your student? So just some quick facts: that attendance is the #1 predictor of dropout and graduation rates. Only 17% of chronically absent students in kindergarten and first grade can read on grade level. And just so you know, a student is considered chronically absent when they miss 10% of the school year, whether the absence is unexcused or excused. So wherever they are in the school year, if they've missed 10% of that year so far, then they're considered chronically absent. There is a 25% drop in the likelihood of graduating high school in 4 years when students are absent between 5 and 9 days per semester. And as little as 5 to 9 absences a semester can drop a student's GPA from a 3.0 to a 2.7. While we don't have GPAs in elementary school, we do have them in middle school. And this also, so just think though we don't have grades in elementary school, it still affects how a student is learning and affects their attending grade level standards and being able to achieve where they need to be. So we have 3 types of absences. Those are excused, such as illness, medical appointment with a note, bereavement. We also have unexcused absences. So vacations without independent study, the student overslept, there was a flat tire. And then we have what are called truant absences or truant tardy. So if a student is late to school 30 minutes or more without an excuse 3 times during the school year, your student is considered truant. Or if they miss 3 days without an excuse, that they're considered truant. So always please make sure to call in your students' absences each day. If you have any other questions about what falls under excused absences, you can look in your annual Parent Rights Handbook on pages 4 and 5. And in Union, we send attendance letters. So if you receive an attendance letter, this is what they're all about. So if your child is truant, as I stated before, has the 3 or more tardies that are 30 minutes or more, or the 3 unexcused absences, you're going to get what's called letter 1. If you have 6 or more truancies where they're 30 minutes late or 6 unexcused absences, you're going to get letter 2, and you will have a pre-SARB. SARB stands for School Attendance Review Board meeting with your site administrator. And then if there's another letter that comes, you're going to come to a SARB hearing here at the district office, where it's myself and a few other panel members as we work with your student and you to create a contract to help your student get back to school. If you get a chronic absenteeism letter, you'll get one that just shows that your student has missed 10% of the school year, whether the absence is excused or not. And then a pre-SARB meeting will be held. Then we have excessive excused. So this means your student has 7 or more excused absences. Letter 2 goes out with 12 excused, and you'll have a pre-SARB hearing meeting. And then if the excused absences continue, you'll go to SARB. It's really important that your student is at school every day and on time, unless they are super sick, have a fever or vomiting. Then we understand diarrhea. Then we understand that your student should stay home. Some helpful hints if you're struggling with attendance at home: keep a calendar at home to mark and celebrate the days your student is present. Set a regular bedtime to help your child get at least 8.5 hours of sleep each night. Set out clothes and accessories the night before so it doesn't become a battle in the morning. Even deciding what will be for breakfast the night before. That way, they wake up, you get dressed, you have your breakfast, it's already all planned, and there is no battle about what they're going to wear or what they're going to eat. Give yourself a 5 to 10 minute buffer to avoid the drop off traffic at school in the morning. If you drop off your child, if you can walk, then definitely walk. It's always nice to get some fresh air and get in those steps. Try and set up appointments outside of regular school hours. While I know that can be difficult, as there are many things going on and there are many students that need appointments as well. But if you can get yours outside of school hours, that is very helpful. Review the school's calendar and plan vacations when school is out. If you have to take a vacation during the school year, please talk to your site administrator at least 2 weeks before that planned vacation to do an independent study. An independent study can be a minimum of 3 days to a maximum of 15 days throughout the school year. And when your student is on independent study, they are considered here at school, and they do not get absences. And then reach out to your principal or myself if you need support talking to your student about the importance of attendance. The other item I'd like to talk to you about is WeTip. So we have WeTip. You'll see signs around the school. The number is in the site's newsletters, and there's an online platform as well. So this is an anonymous reporting of unsafe, inappropriate, or unwanted behavior such as bullying, vandalism, and violence. Students and families, you may easily make a safe report online by text or QR code. The QR codes are all over the school site, or over the phone without fear of retaliation. And WeTip reporting is available on all school websites. If a WeTip comes in, please know they are looked at right away with myself and the school, and we work to set up a plan to figure out how to resolve the report that we get. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your meeting. Sorry I couldn't attend.
I just wanted to go ahead and chime in real fast to introduce. That was Annie Murphy, Director of Student Services, with that attendance video. And Jackie can continue on. Next slide, Tristan.
Thank you, Janine. So I want to wrap it up about for our multilingual learners, the intervention curriculum that we use. We're very fortunate because our interventions, while we do have some that are on our computer or web-based, the majority of our interventions are in-person interventions, which a lot of districts don't have that opportunity. So we're very fortunate we have that. And our interventionists work with students on frames for fluency, so building like oral vocabulary and using it in sentences. And then they also bring in the carousel of ideas, which is vocabulary building as well. It has graphic organizers to help students organize their writing and organize their thoughts. In addition to that, we use leveled literacy intervention, which are small reading books that help students learn to read and comprehension, as well as the University of Florida Literacy Institute, where they can use decodable readers. And so all of our interventionists are trained by a credentialed teacher, and then they work closely with that credentialed teacher and along with the teachers whose student is in their class, and provide in-person interventions for them, both in English language development and reading and writing.
Okay, the time has come for each site to go ahead and give us some updates of current events. So, teachers, I will call on you, and if you can chime in your current updates, we'd appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Leeds, and I believe Miss Lerma is here to join us.
Yeah, hi, I'm Monica, and wanted to share a few things. One thing that we had done last week as a school campus is we had lunch with a loved one. And that was on Wednesday and Friday. And it went really well as far as getting lots of people from the community or loved ones from the community to come and spend time with the kids. And they were so excited. So wanted to share that. And then also some things that we were doing to target our multilingual learners are we have a multilingual conversation groups during the school day. It's a targeted intervention to help our students who haven't met the CASP criteria, the end of the year testing, to reclassify. So we're working with those students during the school day. And then also after school, we offer a group to support students who are developing their oral language skills and their vocabulary. That's what we wanted to share at Leeds.
Thank you, Monica. I love the Lunch with a Loved One of my favorite events. And great to hear there's targeted supports happening at Leeds. Awesome. Okay, Guadalupe.
Hello, I'm Amy Staringhouse, a third grade teacher here at Guad. So things that we're doing, also the same thing. We are super lucky that our intervention team happens to all be credential teachers, and we're doing the same interventions also with an EL group, and we're monitoring their progress. The staff is twice a year, and we're this year what we're doing is we're targeting our tier 1 top 10 strategies with our ELs, well, and with all our students actually. Things that are coming up, we have a STEAM night coming up on the 25th in the Makerspace, a family picnic on the 26th where families can bring their picnic dinner and eat on the upper field, and International Day is on its way soon too. We also have a lot of different academic challenges and classes starting in the afternoons. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Amy. I know your intervention team is very strong at Guadalupe, so thank you for sharing and highlighting them. And sounds like a fun event. That multicultural night is always a fan favorite. So I
Thanks.
hope you have a lot to attend there. That's a great event for everyone. Okay, let's go ahead and head to Carlton.
Hi, Mael Buckner. I'm kinder teacher at Carleton. We have our intervention and our multilingual services are starting, I believe, next week if they haven't already started. And then we have first and second grade are gearing up for their multitudes testing coming up, I think at the end of the month and next month. And then some fun things. We have a family movie night coming this Friday. They're watching the Lilo and Stitch person one, not the cartoon. And Kinder is having a visit from police officers next week. And fifth grade is heading to science camp at the end of the month.
Wow, lots of things going on at Carleton to be a part of. Thank you very much, Miss Buckner. We appreciate it. I was at Carleton this week, and I was already hearing about the excitement around movie night on Friday night. So, and also science camp changing to Camp Campbell. So they're all very excited there at Carleton. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and go to Dartmouth, and I believe we have an update from Artosa Abe there.
Hello, I'm not Susie Powers, but I'm here to represent the Dartmouth Middle School. Go Eagles. Big news over at Dartmouth is Multicultural Night is next Friday, which is a free event open to all students. It's on, again, September 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. And there's going to be culture sharing through food, music, and entertainment. If you are interested in volunteering for the event, go dig up that email that Mr. Boggs sent you in his weekly email on Sundays, and there's a link in there to click on. Also going on Dartmouth, they're introducing a lot of lunchtime activities like sporting games and competitions. And starting next week, there is a 4-on-4 co-ed soccer tournament going on. So signups are due tomorrow, and there's a sheet that's in the window of the gym if you're interested in that. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Mr. Goldman, for that Dartmouth update. Another fun multicultural night going on, and I'm excited to hear more lunch activities for the students. And of course, a fan of that soccer tournament. So lovely. Let's head to Alta Vista. Oh, I think you're on mute. There we go. Go ahead and start over because we want to hear you.
Hi, I'm Monique Angel. I teach fifth grade at Alta Vista. Last Friday we had our movie night, which we also showed the Lilo and Stitch
Oh,
live action movie. So I guess that one's a hit. It was hosted by our home and school club. This morning, our principal, Mr. Barbera, hosted a principal's coffee to chat with the parent community about what's going on at our site. And then every Wednesday, we have our weekly ROAR rallies where we are trying to push PBIS, positive behavior, using responsibility, ownership, attitude, and respect.
Good work. Okay, lots of movie nights. Sounds like Lilo and Stitch is the go-to. But I'm really glad to hear principal, coffee with the principal, worth your time, definitely to hang out with Mr. Barbera. I know many of the sites do principal, coffee with the principal, and also excellent to hear about the PBIS rallies. That's district-wide. Just a reminder, we are a PBIS district, and we're proud about that. So thank you for that reminder. We appreciate it. And let's head to Nodden. And we have Marwa who's joining us today.
Hello, hi. So lots happening at Nodden as well. So as someone mentioned, we started the reading intervention as well, like this week, and we started a lot of things, happening this week. We started the gardening club, which is like a big hit. Everyone, at lunchtime after they finish eating, they go to the garden and they do gardening activities, and kids love it. And every year we do that, and kids, they are really motivated and they are excited about it. So we also had family night on Tuesday for the first family night for pre-K, TK, and kinder families to come together, play yard games, bubbles, chalk, and enjoy time spent together to build a community between these grade levels, which is first, to have it this year, and more to come. So we will, Nodden will be hosting more of these events as well, and to build a community. We have Nodden Fest coming soon, next Friday, September 26th, and it's going to be from 5:30 to 8. All families are welcome to join us. It's going to be a fun activity with magic show and snack, cake walk, and a lot of fun stuff. Ralphie will be coming as well. So this is something we're looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you. Such great events happening at Nodden. What a great idea to do family night. Thank you for explaining that. And I've already heard the buzz around Nodden Fest. So I know it's a success every year. Thank you. And we're going to go to Oster. And I just want to let you know there's a typo on the slide. I updated it on my end, but I didn't get the current update. So I want to apologize. But we do have an Oster teacher representative, Sarah Growitz, that's going to go ahead and give our update for Oster.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sarah Grotz. I'm a second grade teacher at Oster. We also had garden club that started last week at Oster. We have a lower garden, we have an upper grade garden. Students also have been really enjoying it. This week they just picked some apples from our lower grade garden. They have rosemary. They can take home some items each week if they decide to go. We also have mileage club that started, and that happens every Friday when students can run laps if they would like to around the grass during their lunchtime. And just a good way to get that energy out, earn some little foot charms. It's a really fun activity for the kids. Next week, we do have our first Student of the Month assembly. Our principal, Mr. Sanchez, really likes to start this. We implement PBIS, be safe, be responsible, be respectful. And then each teacher every month picks a student in their class that has been exemplifying those roles, and they get recognized in an assembly each month. So students really look forward to that. And then we also have student council that's starting this week too. That's for fourth and fifth grade students, and they represent the school. They pick spirit days, their peace patrol, and they run like the sock drive and Second Harvest Food Bank drive as well.
Thank you for sharing and for Oster. It sounds like you have some healthy things going on with your mileage club and your garden, as well as some student highlights that really deserve it. So thank you for sharing that, Ms. Growitz. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with Union Middle School. I know two of our representatives are here, so whoever would like to give your site update.
Yes, hi everybody. So we have a couple of fun things coming up at Union. We have our Galactic Gala Dance coming up on September 26th for 7th and 8th graders. It's our first dance of the school year. And then our Spelling Bee is coming up on October 6th, and that will take place at lunch every single lunch until we deem a winner. So it's very exciting. And I do teach the class for our multi-language learners, and this is the most diverse class I've had. We have students from Israel, Korea, Japan, China. I had to write them all down. China, Taiwan, El Salvador, Mexico, Tunisia, Iran, and Russia. So 10 countries, 9 languages. It's amazing. And right now, in the class, they are all presenting. I know it's pretty amazing because it's so early on in the year, but they're all presenting about their own countries, bringing in foods from their own countries, and doing an activity that represents their country. So we started today with Japan. It was phenomenal. And so they are so excited to share about, where they've come from, and all the kids are so excited to learn about, their fellow classmates. It's amazing. And the other thing is that I piloted a new curriculum last year called Vista. So, in conjunction with Lexia and Epic Books and some other stuff that we use in the class, I'm going to be using that again this year. And I'm really excited because it's such a rich curriculum to use with the kids. And it's leveled so I can use it for, all the different levels that I have in my class. So, I'm very excited to bring that back this year.
Thank you for sharing that, Jen. Wow, what a supportive classroom for all these students from all over the world to be a part of. And I'm so grateful to hear how your class is connecting from just the beginning of the year. And I can't wait to hear your updates throughout the year together. All right, thank you for all of our shout outs and updates for all our sites. Sounds like we have many th wonderful things started for our students, whether multilingual students or not, just as a school community. Sounds like we're really doing a lot of reaching out to build that strong community and foundation and PBIS within our school sites. So thank you, teacher reps. We appreciate it. All right, Tristan.
Okay, this is me. We're going to wrap up the meeting with a few reminders of services that our district has and then upcoming events for our district as well. So as you may remember, our district uses the language line translation services. So anytime you call the school or you go into the school or you go for a meeting or a parent-teacher conference, any staff member can use language line to help translate so that the two of you can communicate with each other. So if you need these services, feel free to ask for language line and our staff will gladly connect so that we can communicate easier with you. And then next slide. Yep. Okay. And so on Saturday, November 15th at Dartmouth Middle School, we have Helping Harvest Festival coming up. We're very excited by this. This is an annual event that our community gets to come together. So feel free to invite your neighbors or people that are around you. There's student performances, which are always my personal favorite. And then there's parent language ambassadors, so other parents that might speak your same language to connect with and to connect within the community. There'll be a photo booth, DJ, lots of different activities for all ages. And then we also have therapy dogs that come that you can hang out with them and pet them. The kids always love that, and adults too. Who doesn't love being able to be with animals? So please join. And then another event that we have coming up are the STEAM nights at all of our elementaries and middle schools. So the elementary site is September 25th. All of the sites, all the elementary sites will have it on the same night. And then, and the theme is building momentum. And then the middle school night, so at Union and at Dartmouth, will be on October 2nd. And their theme is connecting the puzzle pieces of STEAM. So again, this is a family event. Bring your family, all ages can come and just get to see our STEAM lab and participate in activities. It's a definitely fun night and a highlight for the students for the school year. And then our future DELAC meetings, our next one is not until January 28th and then May 6th. So please mark your calendars because we love when our parents and our community gets to come together to talk about all things multilingual learners.
Okay, and as we wrap up, we know that Tristan, thank you, has been putting forms in the chat if you have any questions, but please feel free to reach out to us anytime. My email is there, Heather's email is there. We're here to support you throughout the year. It doesn't have to be a DLAC meeting. We're always here for you. So thank you for your time. We encourage you to ask questions. We encourage you to give comments. I want to thank the teacher reps for being here and the parent community for logging on as well. Everybody else that's watching the recording, if you need anything, please reach out to us. And thank you again. We will see you in January at our next DELAC meeting. Bye for now.